Christopher Nolan's highly anticipated adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey is set to release Friday, July 17th, so I figured I'd take a moment to look back on the myriad of ways the almost 3,000-year-old epic poem has been adapted for both the big and the small screen. The earliest on-screen adaptation I could find was the 1905 silent short film titled The Mysterious Island, which was directed by pioneering cinematic effects wizard Georges Méliès, who you probably already know from his 1902 classic A Trip to the Moon. Running at a slim 4 minutes, The Mysterious Island combines scenes from Calypso's island with Odysseus' battle against the Cyclops Polyphemus. I like this shot of the arm coming out of the cave to suggest the Cyclops' scale, and the part where he stabs the single eye out is gnarly. Look at that eye juice dripping down his beard. Yuck! Looks like ice cream or something. Flash forward 6 years to 1911 Italy, where a group of directors produce a 44-minute-long silent film titled The Odyssey for the International World Fair held in Turin. While less drippy, the scene where Odysseus stabs the Cyclops' eye with a burning stake is similarly gruesome. And I also really like the way they rendered Scylla with multiple lion-like heads. And I must say, for a runtime as paltry as 44 minutes, this film really does cover a lot of ground. You've got the Trojan War, the struggle against Polyphemus, Scylla, the island of Calypso, the kingdom of the Phaeacians, Odysseus disguising himself as an old man, and finally his battle against the suitors. Talk about covering ground. The next screen adaptation would come in 1954, draped in gorgeous Technicolor. Titled Ulysses, which I recently learned is the Latinized form of the name Odysseus, was an Italian film starring American actor Kirk Douglas. This one gives a lot more runtime to Ulysses' time on the island kingdom of Phaeacia, exploring his relationship with the Princess Nausicaa. No, not this one, the OG. I also found it curious that they used the Roman names for the gods, like Neptune instead of Poseidon, but I chalked this up to this being an Italian production, and they were using names to be more familiar with their audience. This was a solid adaptation, a little on the dry side, but to me, the entire package is held up by Douglas's performance as the titular character. I also wanted to point out this wall face. I like this wall face. More movies need wall faces. Come 1968, the Italian television network RAI aired an 8-episode miniseries named The Odyssey, depicting the events of Homer's poem. This series was a French, Italian, German, Yugoslav co-production, and from what I've read, it seems this is the most faithful adaptation of the original poem for the screen. This miniseries featured Barbara Bach as the Phaeacian princess Nausicaa, who would go on to play Bond girl Anya Amasova in 1977's The Spy Who Loved Me. There's a fascinating adaptation in 1989 named Nostos: The Return, which takes a very minimalist, almost experimental approach to retelling the story. There's hardly any dialogue, and the little dialogue there is spoken in a wholly made-up, Mediterranean-influenced language. I like this one a lot. I really appreciated how much emphasis there was on the characters navigating various environments and just taking time to exist in nature. It's a far cry from other adaptations focused on the heroics, trials, and interpersonal drama between characters. It's something different. And I also do recognize that a movie like this isn't for everyone. I think you'll have to be in a particular mood to really appreciate a film as ambient and vague as this one. In 1997, a 2-part TV movie adaptation of The Odyssey aired on TV. This one's solid, and you could tell they really stretched a middling budget with some great sets and locations, and I really like the effects they used to depict the monster Scylla. Plus, there's oodles of glorious late 90s TV quality CGI, which is always fun. Christopher Lee plays the blind prophet Tiresias, who Odysseus visits in the underworld, and famous singer and actress Vanessa Williams plays the nymph Calypso. Also, check out Hermes' sparkling Speedo. Three years later, in the year 2000, we got a critically acclaimed modernization of the story for the big screen, and that film was Ryan's Babe. You can tell it's an adaptation because a character is holding a copy of the book. See? The movie is a total shit show, a complete and utter descent into madness. The first half depicts our eponymous hero, Ryan, going on the lam from the cops, crossing the border from Canada into the United States. In the second half, he's trying to get back home to Canada. The entire time, all manners of confusing nonsense happens to Ryan. It's supposedly an adaptation of the Odyssey, but I can barely make out any motifs, themes, or characters from the original story. Are these cheerleaders who beat him up in the middle of the night supposed to be the sirens? Is this redhead lady he hooks up with towards the end supposed to be Circe the sorceress? Or is she supposed to be Calypso? I have no clue, and neither does the movie. This This movie is a mess, and you really have to be on its wavelength and be willing to just roll with whatever it throws at you if you're gonna watch it. And if you do decide to watch this, watch it with a group of friends, and bring plenty of substances, illicit or otherwise, to help you get through the experience. Alright, I've been teasing you. The year 2000 was also when Oh Brother, Where Art Thou released to rave reviews. This movie is an all-time favorite of mine, and revisiting it for this video was an absolute treat. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou tells its own original story about three ex-cons on a search for treasure while borrowing themes, motifs, and characters from the original epic poem. There's a blind seer, a run-in with a group of sirens, a cyclops, and the main character, named Ulysses, played by George Clooney, has an ex-wife who's being courted by a suitor in his long absence. I can't talk about this movie without mentioning its excellent soundtrack, which first got me into bluegrass musicians like Alison Krauss and the Peasall Sisters almost 20 years ago. All I can say further is that you owe it to yourself to watch this gem of a film. Doing research for this video, I found a 2008 Sci-Fi Channel original movie based on the poem called Odysseus, The Isle of Mists, and all I can say is, it certainly looks like a Sci-Fi Channel movie from 2008. Take that for what you will. Even with all these films and miniseries I mentioned, there's quite a few I left out for the sake of brevity. The original epic poem's impact on all Western literature can't be overstated. Now, all that's left to do is to see the new Christopher Nolan directed adaptation and see what it adds to or changes about the original story. I'll see you peeps on the other side.